welcome to day 2 of the readings from Bhagavad Gita. I'm reading from the original 1972 edition, Bhagavad Gita as it is by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. And so I'm going to be reading the first 12 verses. Hopefully it won't take up too much of your time, and I really do appreciate you following along with me so much. And just to give a little background about how this starts off. Again, the Battle of Kurukshetra, which is the setting for the Bhagavad Gita, is a battle between two sides of a family, I guess. There's the Pandava brothers, there's 5 Pandavas, and their cousin Duryodhana. They're fighting against each other for the right to see who will be the rightful heir. Or, question not so much rightful, but they're basically fighting for the heir, to be the heir of the throne of Hastinapura. And so we start off hearing from Dhritarashtra, who is the interim king, and he's blind from birth, and he is not on the battlefield. He doesn't know what's going on without someone to help describe to him what's happening, and they're not even there to see it, let alone be on the field. So his advisor and charioteer Sanjaya was given the boon of spiritual sight in order to basically what we know now as remote viewing, see in real time what was happening on the battlefield and relay that like play by play to Dhritarashtra. And so Dhritarashtra is the father of the Kauravas, who are led by Duryodhana, and again he is fighting against the Pandavas, the 5 Pandava brothers, and Arjuna, who is there. So between the extended families and all of the surrounding kingdoms, like everybody's basically taking sides and joining in this massive war like the earth has never seen before. Okay, text 1. I'll be reading the Sanskrit verse and then the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Dhritarashtra uvacha, dharma kusetra kurukusetra, mamakaha pandavaschaiva, samavita yuyutsavaha, kim akurvata Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after assembling in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do, being desirous to fight? Verse 2. Dristvatu Pandavanakam Acharyam Upasangamya Vyudham Duryodhanastada Raja Vachanam Abravit. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army gathered by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and began to speak the following words. Verse 3. Pashyaitam Pandu Puchanam Vyudham Drupada Puchana Acharya Mahatim Chamum Tava Sisyana Dimata. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Text 4. Atra Shruda Mahashvasa Yuyudhano Viratascha Bhimarjuna Samayuti Drupadascha Maharataha. Here in this army there are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. There are also great fighters like Yuyudhana, Virata, and Drupada. There are, text 5, Drishtaketush Chakitanaha, Purujit Kundibojascha, Kashirajascha Virayavan, Jaibascha Nara Pungavaha. There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Jakitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kuntiboja, and Shaibya. Yudha Manyascha Vikranta, Sobhadro Jopadayascha, Uttamojascha Viryayavan, Sarva Eva Maharataha. There are the mighty Yudamanyu, the very powerful Uttamoja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Sorry. Bear with me, I'm outside. And it's windy. Okay, text 7. Asmakam tu vishishtaye. Nayaka mama sainyasya tani bodha vijottama samyanartam tan bravinite. O best of the Brahmins, for your information, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. So the last couple verses we heard the description of the Pandavas' side of the battle, and now we're about to hear why, because it's the Duryodhana who is the head of the side. He has, his war chief, and he's asking him, because he realizes where they're at, who's on the other side, and he's looking for some confidence, basically, from his war chief, to know that the war is in their favor. So here he's going to describe, why that is. Bhavan Bhismascha Karnascha, Ashvatam Vikarnascha, Kripascha Samitanjaya, Somadatis Tataivacha. There are personalities like yourself, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashvatam, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta, called Buddhishvara. They are always victorious in battle. Text 9. Anyacha Bhavaha Sura Nana Sastra Praharanaha Madarte Tyakta Jivataha Sarve Yudha Vishwaradha. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Text 10. Aparyaptam tarashmakam, paryaptam tvidam ettasham, balam bhishma virakshitam, balam bhima virakshitam. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by Grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Srila Prabhupada explains, herein an estimation of comparative strength is made by Duryodhana. He thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable, being specifically protected by the most experienced general, Grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of the Pandavas are limited, being protected by a less experienced general, Bhima, who is like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. Duryodhana was always envious of Bhima because he knew perfectly well that if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was a far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained. Text 11. Ayanishu cha sarveshu, Bhishmam eva virakshantu, yatta bhagam avishtattaha, bhavantaha sarva evahi. Now, all of you must give full support to Grandfather Bhishma, standing at your respective strategic points in the phalanx of the army. Okay, so text 12. Tasya sanjanayam harsham kuru vriddaha pitamaha simhanadam vinadyo chai sankam tadmao partapavan. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly like the sound of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. Purport. The grandsire of the Kuru dynasty could understand the inner meaning of the heart of his grandson Duryodhana, and out of his natural compassion for him, he tried to cheer him by blowing his conch shell very loudly, befitting his position as a lion. Indirectly, by the symbolism of the conch shell, he informed his depressed grandson Duryodhana that he had no chance of victory in the battle because the Supreme Lord Krishna was on the other side. But still, it was his duty to conduct the fight, and no pains would be spared in that connection. So that's where I'm going to stop. So we've established that, from the outset, just by the looks of it, the Kauravas believed that they were definitely going to win. They had the best general, historically the best fighters, and so, there was no question really. Although there was doubts in the back of Duryodhana's head, and even Dhritarashtra knowing where they're at and who's on the other side. They're kind of fooling themselves in a way. But they played out to this end. They had every opportunity up until this point to have a peaceful reconciliation with the cousins, and Duryodhana refused at every step. I mean, Duryodhana is, he's, I was going to say demonic, but that's one way maybe to describe, the choices that he makes. He's definitely not pious like the Pandavas are considered to be. And so, this is what's happening, among this giant family. You have all different kinds of personalities, and this is, how we can maybe relate to it, knowing that within our own families there's people of all different kinds of personalities, and there's clashes, and, some people you just can't get through to for whatever reason. This is just what you have to deal with. And so Arjuna, as difficult as Duryodhana is, the Pandavas and Arjuna are having to fulfill their duty to go to war and establish righteousness. And so let's see how this plays out. Like I was going to say, as difficult as Duryodhana is to deal with, Arjuna still, doesn't want to have to fight, because it's not just Duryodhana. It's so much more of his family that he loves, despite their personalities. He's put in this position, and so soon we will get to the meat of the Gita. And so please stay tuned and follow along with me, because it does get really good. Aloha. Thank you for listening. Haribol.